Good morning, good morning, good morning. I am doing now the last question on our Metro Central Education District. I'm on question 2, which covers geomorphology. Guys, this is great call. Some of you have been asking me, for which grade? Guys, the only class that does preparatory exams in South Africa, guys, you know it most, guys, is grade 12. So don't confuse this with the grade 11s and 10s. They do not do preparatory paper. It is the grade 12 that does this preparatory paper before they write the final. So I've been answering this question I don't know how many times. So the preparatory papers that I'm uploading now is for grade 12. But starting next week, I think I'll start uploading something from grade 10 and also grade 11. I'll just do it because I know for term 4 they're going to write an exam. Okay, let's stick to what we have here. So this is Metro Central Education District from Western Cape. So I'm on geomorphology, question 2.5. I'm on geomorphology, question 2.5. I've done 2.1, I've done 2.2, 2.3 as well. I've done 2.4. I'm moving on now to 2.5. Okay, 2.5. What is it all about? Let's start from here. Refer to the extract below on catchment and river management. Guys, most learners I know they do well in this section, in this question. That is 2.5. River management, guys. This is you're supposed just to collect marks, guys. This is where you're supposed to collect marks. River catchment and river management. All right, let's go through it now. So what is important, guys? You have got this extract. What is important, guys? Go through it, read, because most of your answers, they'll be linked to this extract. Okay, river turns black after coal mine dam collapses next to the rural communities and Tlhuwe. It follows the game reserve. This is where it took place. This is where it took place. This is the title of the extract. Okay, the date is there, 11 January 2022. Large volumes of potentially toxic coal mine effluent west have spilled into rivers flowing through rural communities and Tlhuwe and follows game reserve. According to the US-based Union of Concerned Scientists, mining and coal washing operations produce high water pollution, which can also contain toxic heavy metals such as arsenic, copper, lead, and manganese. When the slurry dam, which will collapse on 24 December, the residents of affected communities were not warned about the potential hazard until 2 weeks later. Conservation managers in the neighboring Tlhuwe and Follows Game Reserve were also led to believe that the spill was under control, only to discover the pitch black water flowing through the reserve several days later. By this stage, the black water had reached the confluence of Black and White Umfolo's rivers. So let's just go through it again. So what we are saying now, large volumes of potentially toxic coal mine effluent have spilled into rivers, which means that in itself, that's what has resulted in the pollution of the river, of course, because of the toxic coal mine effluent west that is spilling into the river. So that in itself is pollution. That is the cause of the pollution in as far as this extract is concerned. Okay, let's move on. According to the US-based Union Concerned Scientists, mining and coal washing operations produce, you can see now, this is according to research now, what they find out, the conclusion that they've come up that is the mining and coal washing operation produce high water quality pollution, which can contain toxic heavy metals such as arsenic, copper, lead, and manganese. This is a point to note that because of mining, what does mine produce? How does it pollute the rivers? That's basically the river system. That's basically what this is all about. When the slurry dam wall collapsed in 24 December, this is when this happened. Okay, the residents of affected community were not warned. They were not warned about the potential hazard. About 2 weeks, they only worked, and about 2 weeks later, it means they were not involved. They were not informed. If they were informed, then they would know how to react and what to do. But they were not informed, which is also shows lack of accountability in as far as some of these companies are concerned. They are operating within communities, but whenever there is a challenge, are they doing environmental impact assessment to see whatever they are doing on the environment, if it has got a negative impact? Is there enough consultation to include the locals to let them stay informed in as far as some of these things are concerned? They are not doing that. You can see from what has been written here that when the slum dam were collapsed in 24 December, the residents residents of the affected community were not warned about the potential hazard, and 2 weeks later. Because even before you start a project in an environment, you're supposed to come up with them to do what you call the environmental impact assessment. You look at what are likely to be the negative impacts and the positive impacts, but the positive are supposed to outweigh the negative, and you should work in a way to actually eliminate the negative, but make sure that the community benefit from the environment of which you'll be operating. That's basically what we are saying. Conservation managers in the neighboring Tutuwe and Follows Game Reserve were also led to believe, they were also led to believe that the spoil was under control, and only to discover the pitch black water flowing through the reserve several times, which means, of course, there was no accountability as well, because as responsible authorities as well, they were not informed. If they were informed in time, they were going to react, they were going to come up with contingency plan, they were going to come up with solution, but they were not informed. So you can see the negligence on the part of this mining company to the community of Tutuwe Mfolos Game Reserve. Of course, that's what is happening. So we need accountability. We need to make sure that we put on legislation to make sure that we control the quality of water. We try to eliminate pollution of this river system. By this stage, the black water had reached the confluence of back. You can see now the extent, the impact, what has happened now. That's basically what we are talking about. So a slurry dam, a dam that is used to store byproducts of mining operations after separating the ore. So now that I've gone through the extract, guys, please don't be too lazy to read. Some of you, I know you want to be the first one to finish. You not get a prize for being the first to finish. Please, guys, it's about quality. It's about quality. Imagine how many grade 12s are writing this same paper on the final. There is a lot of you guys. So you should give as much information as possible. Give as much information as possible. Try to assume that whoever is going to mark your paper does not know anything. You provide them. You cannot be penalized for excess data. Give as much information as possible. This is how you score marks, guys. You don't want to be average. You want to be outstanding. And you can be by making sure that you go through the extract, by making sure that you understand the demands of the question. Let's go now. I talk too much, guys. Apologies. What caused the water in the river to change its color to black? So this is something that is coming from the extract. What do we have? Coal mine waste is spilled into rivers. This is something that we got from here, spilled into rivers. Coal mine waste have spilled into rivers. Polluted mine waste best from a slurry dam. This is what we are getting from the extract. This is what we are getting from the extract. This is what we are getting from what? The extract. Everything is there. Coal mine waste have spilled into the rivers, or the polluted mine waste best into the slurry dam. So it means you have your 1 point. Name any two toxic heavy metals. Name any two toxic heavy metals in the extract that could be found in the polluted mine water. Guys, you are not asked to write what you think. Here they are asking you what you can get from the extract. You can see here it's written mining and coal washing operating produce high water quality pollution, which can also contain toxic heavy metals such as arsenic, copper, lead, and manganese. These are your answer. Anything from this, not copper, arsenic. Be specific here because it's written arsenic, copper. Don't just write copper. Arsenic, copper, lead, and manganese. This is what you are getting from the extract. You don't write what you think. But you are getting the answer from the extract because it said name any two toxic heavy metals in the extract that could be found in the mine. So when you are instructed to get the answer from the extract, please don't think. There's no need for you to think about other things that you can relate to the question. Please be relevant. Be relevant. Get information from the source that you have been tasked to look for your answer. Don't come up with your own answer. Do not set your own question. Be attentive to detail. Follow the instruction of the question. Quote one phrase from the extract that indicates that the mining company did not disclose or make down the pollution of the river. The company, it wasn't truthful. They did indicate that the mining company did not disclose, the pollution of the river. That's basically what we are talking about. They were hiding information. If only they had actually informed the community and the responsible authorities in time, then maybe the problem wouldn't have affected the area to that extent. So what is the answer? The 2.5.3. The residents of the affected communities were not warned about the potential hazards until 2 weeks later. Let's see here. residents of the affected communities were not warned about the potential hazards until 2 weeks later. So you can see already I've collected the 2 points. I've already collected the 2 points. How many marks do I have? 2, 4, 5. I've got 5 already. I'm collecting, guys. I'm collecting. This is something that is coming from the extract. So do not set your own question. If it says from the extract, get the question from there. If it says from the infographic, get the answers from there. Do not set your own question. Okay, what would have been the negative? What would have been the negative economic impact of non-disclosure on the community? What will be the negative economic impact of non-disclosure on the community? What is it that is needed now? Obviously, when you talk about the economic, are there any economic activities within the area that are going to be affected in terms of them generating income, in terms of them generating what? Profits? Are there any operations or business or organizations that are working within that community that is going to lose funds, that is going to lose money just as a result of them not functioning or being affected by whatever will be happening within that community? So number one, ecotourism will be affected. Ecotourism will be affected. Business in the community will be negatively affected as well. That's something that is economic. Agriculture activities negatively affected. Future investment in the communities will be limited. Contamination of agricultural products, which also actually affect the product quality, the increase in medical bills because of the pollution that is taking place. Water purification is also expensive. So this is something that is got an economic impact because it has something to do with how they're going to lose an income, how it's going to affect the operations of business, how it's going to increase cost on anything that is used to derive income. That's what makes it more economic. That's what makes it more economic. So you need to be very careful. Don't end up writing something that is social or environmental. The question is specifying economic and also negative economic impact. Okay, that's what you can include there. Okay, then 2.5.5, in a paragraph of approximately 8 lines, describe the environmental importance of managing. Okay, what are the importance of managing the Umfolo's drainage basin, and also suggest measures that the local municipality can implement to maintain the future water quality. So guys, this question, guys, is in 2 parts. Okay, it's in 2 parts. Why am I saying it's in 2 parts? You have to highlight number 1, the importance. Okay, here says the importance of managing. What are the importance? That's number 1. Then also you have to highlight, suggest measures that the local municipality can implement to maintain the future quality of water, of course. So it's in 2 parts. So what I want to say, guys, when you highlight the importance, okay, which means your answer is supposed to include the importance and also the what? The measures. So try to balance, guys. There's no way you're going to have 4 points here by 2 and you expect to get the 8 marks. No, you won't get the 8 marks. There's no way you're going only to provide 4 points about measures, then you expect to get the A marks. No, you won't get the 8 marks. Try to balance. Try to make sure that you cover both. Okay. So your 4 responses must include both the importance and also the measures. You can have 1 on importance, then 3 here. You can have 3 on importance and 1 here. It means that you have covered both the importance and measures. So this is very important. Most of you guys, you just go for the importance, you write your 4 points, then you leave it like that, which means you have partly answered the question. You are only entitled to 4 marks. If you just answer the importance with 4 points, you are only entitled to 4 marks because you did not include the measures part. If you're only going to focus on the measures, it means you are going to get 4 marks, you don't get the 8 marks. So try by all means to make sure that you balance. If a question is in 2 parts, interpret the question correctly, make sure that you cover all parts, the importance and also part of the measures. So our question is broken down into 2, the importance and also the measures. What could be some of the importance of managing the Umfolo's drainage basin? The first one, we can show that it ensures the availability of water. That's one thing, which means if we manage it well, we are ensuring that water is available. Not only is it available, but also in good quality. Okay, you can also maintain water quality, which means at some point, regular intervals, they are going to test the water quality to see if there's any pollution taking place on the river. If there is, then they can react to that, coming up with solution is either whether to find the problem that is resulting in the pollution of the water and rather than waiting until the water has been polluted. So Number one is to ensure the availability of water. By ensuring the availability of water, which means they're making sure that the water is safe and also clean to drink. I'm just looking at the point and the qualifier. I'm not just stating, I'm also explaining the point. So we are saying now the importance is to ensure the availability of water. So the moment there is management of the inflow drainage basin, it means the water will always be available, not only available, but the water that is clean will be available to the local communities for them to use it for different purposes. So I'm explaining this point in full. So you need a factor and a qualifier. You also want to maintain the water quality, which means when you are managing, when you maintain the water quality, you are testing this water at regular intervals, which means any change in the quality of water will also give you an alarm to say that, okay, there's pollution that is taking place in the river. You can see the way I'm putting across my points. It is the point and the qualifier. I'm explaining my point in full. That's what it simply means when you say a factor and the qualifier. You explain the point in full. Again, also now it preserves aquatic life. When you talk about aquatic life, we are looking about life of like fish, all the animals that stays in water. So that's basically what we are talking about, that if we manage, which means we are preserving the aquatic life. This can also be an advantage to our ecotourism, which means there are people that are coming from outside the country just to look at this aquatic life in different ecosystem. Though that's basically what we are talking about, that the moment we are managing the Umfolo's drainage basin, we are also preserving the aquatic life. That's what we are talking about. Then also to ensure that the ecosystem remains healthy. That's another thing that we can also talk about through management of the Umfolo's drainage basin. We ensure that the ecosystem remains healthy, or we also want to preserve biodiversity ecosystem or the habitat. So this is part of the importance of, if I said, let's take 2 points about the importance. I have explained, I've given you about 5. Okay, then on the measures, what can we do? We can continuous monitoring of the dam. If we monitor it continuously, it means we are going to take note of the changes that are taking place. Those things that can actually shows us that there is pollution happening in the river, in terms of maybe changing water quality, in terms of what we'll be observing. Then if we is continuous monitoring of the dam, we'll be in a position to say, oh, there's something wrong. We have tested the quality of the water, there's pollution that is taking place. Let's try to find out what is the problem, who's causing the pollution, what can we do to the perpetrators. That's basically what we are talking about. So the measure could be continuous monitoring of the dam. That's what we need to do by continuously monitoring the dam, which means we are making sure that we maintain the quality of the water. We are making sure that we always make sure the water is available. We are making sure that we also preserve the aquatic life. Okay, regular maintenance of the dam is more or less of what I was talking about. Frequent testing of the water quality, these are measures. Impose fines to companies which do not comply. We are not saying that the more you pollute, the more we fine you. At some point, it will affect your production. Then you stop, you try to come up with mitigating ways, make sure that you do not pollute. That's basically what we are saying. So we are talking about legislation, imposing fines to companies which do not comply. Then we can also create buffer zones around the slurry dam. Buffer zones, they are protecting the dam of the rivers from pollution. So we can also do that, creating buffer zones. Educate community on the precautionary measures. That's what we can do. Awareness campaigns for people, billboards, dam sites, okay. Implement policy or legislation, what I was talking just now. Conserve natural vegetation in the drainage basin. That's what we can do as well. Regulate or control extraction of groundwater and promote sustainable farming methods upstream, and impose fine. So you have seen I have said a lot under measures. I've also said a lot under importance. I'm going to emphasize this again, guys. When you're answering a paragraph question, it's supposed to be in form of a paragraph. Don't answer in point forms, you lose marks. It's written now in a paragraph. It's a paragraph question. Write it in form of a paragraph. Make sure that your points are well explained. A point or a factor and a qualifier, a factor and a qualifier, a factor and a qualifier. Qualifier, what you simply mean is that explain your point in full. That's basically what we are trying to say. Your answer should not be vague. It's supposed to be as clear as possible. It should be a well explained point. So, boys and girls, this takes us to the end of our Metro Central Education District. I've covered all part of question 2, like I promised, which covers geomorphology. I want you also to check on my TikTok. I also did section B. This one I've done it already. You can check on my TikTok and you find also the section B. So I've gone through this paper, guys. Check what I've done now, guys. I've gone through the Western Cape, also 2 papers from Western Cape, both paper 1 and paper 2. I've gone through the Gauteng one as well. Guys, if you can go through those papers, I'm telling you, you'll be ready for the exam. You'll be ready for the exam. But I'm not saying limit yourself to that, but do all the common papers from all the provinces. I'm telling you, if you can do all the common papers from all the provinces, you will definitely nail it. If you want end resource, please just send a message to me. Then I'll provide everything. I don't mind sharing the content that I have. I don't mind sharing all the question paper, the resources that I have. Even if you're an educator, please feel free. My number is 084. This is my number, 08465155511. This is my WhatsApp number. So please, if you want any material, just send me a WhatsApp, then I can respond. I'll try to respond as early as possible. That's what I usually do. I don't take a lot of time before I respond. So please, if you need any material in relation to geography, please just send a message. It's not like I've got everything. I share what I have, and you can also share with me what you have. It's good to work as a team. It's good to work as a team. We are here to help learners pass. We are here also to instill the passion among the learners in as far as the subject is concerned. We are not in any competition. We are here to help educate the nation. So this is my WhatsApp number. If you feel like you want some materials or some of the papers that I was sharing now, send me a WhatsApp message to 08465155511. This is my WhatsApp number. Thank you so much. Have a blessed day.